Demonstrators gathered outside the embassy of the Russian Federation in Washington, D.C., starting at 1 a.m. soon after word came down that Russian troops had begun their anticipated invasion of Ukraine on Thursday. A small group of protesters were seen outside the embassy holding Ukrainian flags. They say they rushed to the embassy to try to get more information and to support each other. Many people that were outside early Thursday were from Ukraine and still have family members there. Some of them expressed fear, worry, and uncertainty for family who remain in Ukraine. The group is also calling on leaders to do more to support Ukraine.
Different cities throughout Ukraine are currently being bombed, and people are being displaced, and it's horrible. So we're here to protest, to stop this war, and to show the world that we're not just going to stand by and do nothing. We're going to unite, and we're going to call on the U.S. government to do more, and to call on our allies to do more as well to stop this war.
And joining me now to discuss this, we have international affairs analyst Jonah Egiga. He joins us from Volgograd in Russia. Good to have you join us, Jonah.
Thank you so much, Precious. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's get the sense of this, especially how we see now that a military operation has been ordered by the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin, in Ukraine, and this is termed as an invasion. But how are Russians, first of all, reacting to this? Is this something that is acceptable in Russia, or there is a mixed reaction?
Well, I think there's actually a complete mixed reaction, because this isn't something that is quite nice to hear, having to see the news and see Russia in the news for some quite bad reasons that we wouldn't want to be in the news for. So, yeah.
Have you spoken to Russians and how do they feel in terms of Ukraine being invaded, bearing in mind that all of these countries were together in the USSR and probably consider each other as families? How do Russians actually feel about this?
Well, and Russians really feel sad about it, because, like I said, I was on your show a couple of weeks ago, and I gave my opinion, and we kind of felt like we didn't see this coming. I obviously didn't see this coming, and Russians feel sad about it, and a lot of Russians have spoken to are actually on the side of peace, and they aren't in support of what's happening, the ongoing invasion, so to say.
And sanctions have now been we've seen the sanctions on Russia. How is this taking effect in the country? Because a lot of people feel like sanctions are not effective enough to deter Russia. But in terms of economic impact, how is it playing out in Russia?
Well, economic impact on Russia right now I don't think it's something we're going to feel for the next couple of weeks, because I think Russia has been, we've really been preparing for the sanctions, because Vladimir Putin had made it quite obvious and clear that he was going to step forward and do a lot of cleansing that needs to be done in these regions that have been going through a lot of crisis for the past 8 years, since 2014. We have these regions who share boundaries with Russia, and the ongoing crisis right now in Lugansk and Donetsk kind of extends into Russian territory, and that's what he's trying to do right now. So I really don't see it as an onslaught for civilians, but it's strictly for the military forces and the people who have been causing unrest to these two regions. And since he declared his support and his recognition of these two regions as independent republics on Monday, I think that's what he's really put into bed, and that's what, if we remember his video, he posted here, or he gave the interview quite early this morning. I think that was by 4 a.m. Nigerian time. He spoke about the military action and what we should expect, that he's not going for civilians, strictly going for the military forces, and the people are making life difficult for Russians, because we have lots of Russians in this region. So I think that's what he's really up for. I don't think it's something that we should kind of blow out of proportion that is for civilians. I don't think it's for civilians. So for the sanctions, we really haven't seen anything right now. Everything seems pretty fine down here over here in Russia.
And whether they are civilians or not, or whether they are Russians or not, they are Russians who are part of Ukraine. And the international community has said that this is an invasion, or this is it does bother around sovereignty of another country, and that country is a violation of its sovereignty and territorial integrity because they are part of Ukraine. How is President Putin reacting to that, and how is he also reacting? We saw that the comment he made earlier in the morning, but not quite clear about how he feels about the sanction. What is he saying about the sanctions as well?
I don't think he has spoken about the sanctions yet. We have been monitoring the Kremlin news, which actually gets to carry a lot of the news concerning what's happening. And he's already said that the sanctions are quite really normal. They were foreseen, and so much has really been put in place to not really affect the Russian citizens economically, because it's obvious that a lot of the Russians have really suffered, because if you live close to these regions, especially cities like Rostov and Belgorod that shares boundaries with Lugansk and Donetsk, you would know that it's really quite normal having to hear this gunpowder every day, and every second thing, and he's actually acting based on what's been happening over 8 years since 2014, and I kind of feel like it's been long overdue. Yes, we might say that the time he's doing that right now might speak a completely different motive, which is what almost everybody is saying. I think Donald Trump too also gave his view, where he said it's really the wrong time, and because everybody would kind of feel like it has a completely different motive, and that's what's really happening. But the sanctions, I kind of feel like it's going to be coming. It's really going to be coming. Different countries are dropping their sanctions, and we would be expecting more sanctions. But Vladimir Putin is determined to clear up the unrest that has been ongoing in the cities for almost 8 years, and I think that he really wants to do.
General, let's talk about the Nigerians in Russia. How are they feeling, and is there any sort of message coming from our consulate or embassy or Nigerian authorities in that country?
Well, personally, I don't think I have gotten any word from the embassy as of now. I used to be the president of the Nigerian Association down here in my city, and I haven't heard anything. Before I came on your show, I was trying to speak with the current president of the association to understand what's happening, and we haven't got a word out. We haven't got a word out yet from the embassy. I think everything is still calm. We are really quite sad this is happening. We are sad it's being also blown out of proportion by the Western media, because, like I said, now this cleansing is happening, and it's not really towards the civilian forces, but obviously having to go into these territories, you should understand that we might have a bit of a casualties here and there, but I think it's better to clear this destruction and unrest that has been going on there for over 8 years once and for all, than it keeps continuing here and there, and that's what Putin has rightly pointed out. So from the Nigerian embassy, we haven't gotten any word out yet. Not yet.
But are there fears within the Nigerian community in Russia that this could get out of hand, that this could escalate into a full-blown war? And perhaps are there plans for, or just emergency plans for evacuation if the need arises?
Obviously, there are obviously going to be fears, because we know when this uncertainty as to the peace of a nation, everyone becomes scared. Everyone starts panicking, and especially having this generation right now where we have lots of false news. You go on Twitter, we find out some people tweeting some opinions that are completely not true. So there are obviously fears, and there are obviously concerns, and people are already being concerned as to what's happening. I woke up this morning to a lot of calls, a lot of missed calls, a lot of messages, and it's really quite interesting how people actually care. But, I kind of feel like we shouldn't panic. I kind of feel like we shouldn't panic right now. We should just pray, and just pray that everything goes on well.
Jonah, stay safe. We will stay in touch with you for updates from Russia. Thank you so much for talking to us
Thank you so
as
much.
always. International Affairs Analyst Jonah
Thank you so
Egiga.
much.